Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. It is October already and I am super excited to bring you some movies to watch in this spooky season of the year. There is a little bit of a horror flair through some of these titles, not all of them, that I hope you are curious about. Some are less horror and more psychological than others, and some are just in there because they're fun movies. Let's get to it. Number 10, City Hunter. Following the antics of Private Eye Ryu Seiba while searching for a runaway daughter of a publishing tycoon, Ryu, by coincidence, ends up on a cruise ship hijacked by ruthless American criminals to take passengers hostage. Assisted by his jealous female assistant, the runaway two female undercover cops and a male gambler, Ryu must foil the nefarious plot. City Hunter is a Jackie Chan movie that is both badass and incredibly stupid and inept in certain points as well. It's a really oddball of a movie. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, I think this is a great film to throw on. It's got ridiculous dated moments where it kind of homages Street Fighter 2 a little bit, where Jackie actually dresses up as Chun-Li in one of the more wackier escapades within this film. It's kind of half badass action movie, half cartoon. It's a real oddball to see, but worth checking out for the fight scenes. Number 9, Wishmaster. The Jinn is a mischievous monster who can fulfill any wishes, but in a horrible way. He was captured into an opal in the 12th century and hidden inside an antique statue. When the statue is damaged in 1997 during transportation to Los Angeles, the Jinn escapes and takes human form. Young gemologist Alexandra has to take a stand against him. Wishmaster is a kind of typical horror movie, but it's elevated because of the effects, practical, fantastic goodness. A little bit of CGI sprinkled in there, but most of it is practical, and it's wonderful all because of that. You get Andrew Divoff as the Jinn, who gives a wonderful performance. Wishmaster is one of those kind of movies that I really do enjoy. I think it's incredibly silly, it's incredibly 90s, and incredibly bloody. Number 8, Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Bella and Hector, two reclusive country folk, become foster parents to Ricky, a problem child from the city. After some adjustment, things go reasonably well. However, the death of Bella means Hector now has to look after Ricky, and they don't really get along too well. Moreover, her death causes Child Services to decide to send Ricky back to the orphanage. He refuses to go back and runs away, ultimately sparking a nation manhunt for him and Hector. Hunt for the Wilderpeople is ridiculously funny. It's one of those movies I've championed since I discovered it in the cinema. I think Taika Waititi does a wonderful job directing Sam Neill here, who is Hector in this one, and it's basically these two people who just hate each other, completely mismatched, stuck in the outback trying to survive with countless people chasing after them. Riotously funny, ridiculously so, and I think it is absolutely wonderful. Number 7, The ReZort. Set in the wake of an apocalyptic zombie outbreak, the film centres on Melanie and her boyfriend Lewis, who visit a safari retreat, The ReZort, where every paying guest has a licence to kill the undead. There they meet Archer, a former zombie hunter, who has step up when the security system at the resort crashes and unleashes thousands of bloodthirsty zombies back into the wild. The ReZort is one of those direct-to-video movies that is not for everybody. Manage your expectations. It is primarily Jurassic Park with the zombies, which is a really good setup actually. The movie delivers somewhat on that, and I think it really is kind of fun, kind of low budget, trashy as well, kind of ticks all the boxes of the things that I really do secretly enjoy. Number 6, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. 4 high school kids discover an old video game console and are drawn into the game's jungle setting, literally becoming the adult avatars they chose. What they discover is that you don't just play Jumanji, you must survive it. To beat the game and return to the real world, they must go on the most dangerous adventure of their lives. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle was a wonderful reboot of an old movie, a great way to tackle the kind of film. It was funny, It was endearing, and it's endlessly rewatchable. It's one of those movies that if I catch on TV or my kids watching it, I sit down and watch the rest of it because it's genuinely just a fun time in front of the TV. Number 5, Infestation. Our hero, Cooper, awakens to find himself nauseous, weak, and covered in a strange webbing, hanging from the ceiling of an office where, just minutes ago, he started a new job. As he struggles out of his slimy prison, he comes face to face with his opponent, a grotesque, powerful, and very angry bug, all 3 foot of it, and so begins a hideous, nail-biting, comedic, all-action adventure to find a safe haven while constantly outwitting an infestation of monstrous proportions. Infestation suffers from having a really kind of generic poster that never quite hits the tone of the movie. It looks rather silly. Of course, this movie is a little bit silly at heart, but it has a great character, multiple great characters, great effects, a wonderful kind of adventure story, the kind of adversity that I would like to have seen more of. It's really kind of inventive, and it's one of those ones that you need a little bit of time to settle into the tone of the movie, but once you get there, it's immensely enjoyable. Number 4, The Arrival. Zane Zeminski is a radio astronomer with SETI, who discovers an Earth-based hidden signal that seems to have extraterrestrial connections. Soon after he reports his discovery, he is fired and recorded evidence is destroyed. He then embarks on a search to determine the origins of the transmission that leads him to a Hitchcockian labyrinth of paranoia and intrigue. David Twohy directs this one, stars Charlie Sheen, and it's one of those movies that I just really remember from the 90s. Just everything about it has these fun moments, a really neat kind of tale to it, and it's one of those ones that I go back to every couple of years and I really enjoy it. Charlie Sheen actually does really well in the movie. It's the twists and the turns that really keep me addicted to this. It shows you too his attention to creating a suspenseful moment. There is a wonderful sequence with scorpions inside of a bedroom that is just so suspenseful. It's just wonderful. The Arrival's a good sci-fi movie. Not great, but a really enjoyable one. Number 3, Bombshell. When Gretchen Carlson slaps Fox News founder Roger Ailes with a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment, not a soul could predict what would happen next. Her decision leads to Fox News correspondent Megyn Kelly coming forward with her own story, as well as multiple other women inciting a movement that reverberates around the world. Bombshell is one of those movies that just draws you in with this shocking tale of oppression of a man in charge of a large news company. He can make or break careers, and he does so by using really underhanded and disgusting ways to manipulate the staff under him. And it's played brilliantly by John Lithgow, and I think all the actresses do terrific work. And it's one of those movies that just kind of captures you straight away, and you're drawn into the story and you're there right to the end, and it's just a wonderful piece, inciting a lot of knowledge of a subject matter that I didn't really know about, I hadn't heard too much about. Number 2, Get Duked. A trio of teenage miscreants are given one last chance to turn their lives around by completing the Duke of Edinburgh Award, Trek Across the Highlands. Along for the ride is one little overachiever who's in this for the opportunity to pad his CV. They don't have anything in common, but the ragtag quartet are dropped off in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a map and have to work together. However, they aren't alone as they think, as soon they are being stalked by wealthy aristocrats who intend to hunt and kill them for sport. Get Duked is another one of those incredibly silly movies that takes you a good 20 minutes before you realise what kind of film you're into here. I threw on knew nothing, not even the synopsis, and it took me a little while to settle into the characters, their relationships and what was happening. Now the thematics are most definitely front and foremost here. They don't try to hide them, there's no subtlety in it, but the movie's incredibly funny. It has these wacky characters who, although grating at first, you grow to actually kind of like, and that's part of the battle of watching this one. Get Duked is one of those movies that could just as easily fade into the background, so quickly check it out while it's still front and foremost in your mind. Number 1, The Gentleman, a talented American graduate of Oxford, using his unique skills and audacity, creates a marijuana empire, using the estates of impoverished British aristocrats. However, when he tries to sell his empire to a fellow American billionaire, a chain of events unfolds involving blackmail, deception, mayhem, and murder between street thugs, Russian oligarchs, triad gangsters, and gutter journalists. I was excited when The Gentleman appeared on Prime. It's the third time I've watched it this year, having seen it twice in the cinema, and I'm strongly leaning towards it being one of Guy Ritchie's best films, if not his best. It is extremely accomplished. It knows exactly what it's going to do, and it takes you on this mystery ride, giving you real fantastic characters, memorable characters to get behind, countless scenes that stick in my memory, and a screenplay that really just jumps off the page with some wonderfully obtuse language that I just think delivers. I think all the performances are wonderful, and this is one that I have been recommending since the day I saw it. I think it's really worthwhile. I think it's incredibly entertaining, and it's my number one for that exact reasoning. So there we have it, 10 fantastic movies to keep you occupied as the dark nights start to creep in. I hope you find something there that's going to rattle your nerves or keep you interested throughout this month. If you have any suggestions for me, feel free to drop them in the comment box below. And of course, please like this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, or join my Patreon, where you can support this channel and these videos for just $1, €1, or £1. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month.